Hey guys, happy Thursday. Thank you for joining me tonight. If you're new, my name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make lovely and quirky hand embroidery patterns and kits. I'm here every weeknight at 9:30 p.m. Central, and we chill and work on a project together. Right now we're working on the Jacquelynne Steves I Love Home block of the month. Quilt along, we are on block 1. Here's what we're making. And I am doing some applique, and I will be doing embroidery with this applique. So we got a few stems and leaves done last night. I'm gonna try and get the rest of these leaves done tonight. So that is the plan. We're doing some needle turn applique using the freezer paper and starch method. It's been going well so far, I think. It's fun to get back into the needle turn applique. If you want to take part in this quilt along, it is free, and we get a block a month. There are 4 blocks total, and then the last month we'll be working on assembling the quilt, like all the borders and all that. So we are only on block 1. There's plenty of time to join. It is free. There is a link in here to the Jacquelynne Steves I Love Home block of the month quilt along. You can click that. And we have a winner for the Aurifil thread box giveaway. It is Terry J. Knolloff. I don't know if she's in here yet. I know she's here often though, so I texted her, or I Facebooked her earlier today. But we'll see. So hopefully Terry jumps in here tonight. But congrats to Terry. And I think there will be more giveaways during this block of the month. So be sure to get on the block of the month newsletter to be a part of it. Oh, Terry, yes, you are our winner. So I messaged you earlier, message me back with your info, but you win the Aurifil box giveaway. It's going to come direct from Aurifil in Italy, and you should have it soon. Like once you give me your info, they'll send it right out to you. Awesome, congrats. And there will be more giveaways soon, so I think with the other blocks. So be sure to get on the I Love Home block of the month newsletter, and it's free again. And then if you want to participate in my giveaway for stuff, make sure you get onto my newsletter as well. There should be a link here. It's the Penguin and Fish free PDF email, I think, or free email. I forget. It's in here though, and that will get you onto my newsletter, and that's where I will announce how to sign up for it and everything. So awesome! Congrats again, Terry. That's rad. It's a whole pile of the Aurifil thread, which is awesome. I've been using it for everything lately. So woohoo! All right, guys, let's get going now with the rest of my little leavies here, and we'll see what we can get done tonight. Okay, turning you around. Awesome. Congrats. That's like, I think it's like about $50 worth of thread. So that's kind of awesome. So, all right, I already have the rest of my leaves cut out of the freezer paper from last night. So let's get right to it. I'm going to do these 2 leaves, which is this color fabric. And I think I have some of that up here already. Oh, I even got a paper scissors out today, but I'm not even sure I'll be using it, so oh well. All right, first off, let's iron a leaf onto this fabric. I'm still doing it one at a time. Yay, Terry, I'm happy. That's awesome. I'm doing these leaves, or all my pieces, one at a time still, and that's mainly because I've found that if I don't do the freezer paper right away, like if I wait a day, I mean, I know I'm going to do it today yet, but if I wait a day or like till next week or something, the freezer paper has come off before. So that's why I've been kind of just doing this one at a time, which is fine. So I'm not doing all the freezer papers all at once, but that's okay. All right. I suppose we can suppose we can stay up here. We're gonna starch next. Let me trim this up though first. So just getting around. Again, a little less than 1/4 inch. A little more than 1/8 inch though. All right, I'm gonna clip this a little bit and then just kind of thin it out again. I think that was sort of working. Gotta practice my points. All right, I suppose maybe I shouldn't be cutting over all on the top of here, so I don't have all these little bits that I have to deal with, but that's okay. All right, let's get our starch out. So I'm using the Best Press again, and I'm just spraying a little bit in here. And I'm gonna dab it on with my cotton swab. Just around the edge. I don't want to get a lot on the paper, because if I do that, then it'll want to come off. It'll want to unstick itself, the plastic, so that's what we're doing. You know what, tonight I'm going to try where you fold over the point and then kind of fold the sides in. Let's see if that works better for us. I might have to hold that down to try that. I don't know if this is going to work for me. I don't think I'm going to get a super sharp point doing it this way, but I know this is another way to do it. Giving it a go. Let's get the stiletto out here to help me. I should get my little clover iron out one of these evenings too. That's the tiny iron that's actually meant for doing this. There, that's not wanting to tip over. Oh, this is like not sticking tonight. Okay, we're gonna have to start over on this piece, I think. I think my iron wasn't quite warm enough yet. We'll have to restarch it. So let's re-stick that. That's a bummer. So I think I'm going to just do my point normal now. Maybe that's a sign. Just do it the normal way. I'm going to just starch the one side, and then we'll work on the other side. There we go, little by little. All right, get this guy in. And up this angle here. Wow, I'm feeling kind of clumsy with this today. Hopefully it works out here. I know, luckily I can shape it a little bit as we stitch, so I'll be able to do some of that later. All right, let's do this side. Get that all starched up again. And all right, let's try where I fold it over with, oop, there we go. The little dog ear going. So small, these itty bitty leaves. I think I'm gonna have to do a lot of shaping. Oh, you know what might be one of the reasons that this feels a little bit different for me tonight? This is a different piece of fabric. So every fabric, you know, every company does their fabric a little bit differently, right? So I might, this particular fabric might just, I don't know, react differently to starch and everything. So I think it got a little smaller, got a little goofy, but I think we're gonna just try and shape it a little bit more right on the background piece. So let's see if we can do that at all. All right, I'm gonna just put a little dab of glue on it. Yeah, see, because look, it got pretty skinny and I didn't get the corners very well at all. So I'm gonna use this as a guide, my drawing as a guide to kind of puff it out a little bit more and get my corners a little bit better. So I think I'm gonna glue it down about there, and then we'll just really work on our curves and the corners a little bit more. So again, just a dab of glue. I'm gonna put it right kind of in the center. Again, keep it on your seam allowances. You don't want it on the actual back of the fabric, but you know, all I can see, since this piece is so small, all I can see is the seam allowance, so I think we'll be okay. All right, we are stuck down there. Oh, it's gonna be so cute. I like this color combo, the little mix of colors. I think that was a neat thing. That was actually in the instructions, the mix of colors, but I'm pretty happy about it. I was gonna do it all one color, all the leaves and all the stems the same color green, and I don't know, it's pretty fun to mix it up. Okay, get some thread. I don't need that big of a piece of thread. Just has to be enough to go around this this leaf. And the less thread sometimes is a little bit more maneuverable, I guess. All right. This is going to be a little bit more like true applique. I'm going to follow this line, this line that's drawn on the fabric, and I'm going to use that as my guide of where to stitch. So again, from the back to the front, grabbing both fabrics and then just going around in that same kind of stitch again, just to kind of lock it. Your pieces lay so well. Oh, thanks! I think maybe I pull my thread too tight because the background fabric can get puckered sometimes. Oh, Sue, that sounds like a possibility. Yeah, give that a try. Just stitch a little less. I'm also doing pretty big stitches. Maybe if you're doing big stitches and pulling tight, like if I pull this tight, see, then it does pucker. So I am kind of just letting it. I'm just letting it be. I'm only pulling it till there's no loop in the back. I'm not really tugging at it or anything. All right, now here's where I gotta really start following this line and shaping this a little bit, which hopefully, it might make it a little bit more difficult that I've starched it, but we're gonna work through this thing. I'm gonna get these leaves right, these corners. I'm actually going to kind of open it up a little bit. I think that will help since I am kind of shaping this from scratch. Yeah, and you know, maybe, yeah, just experiment. Like maybe your stitches are too big and smaller stitches would help out with that too. Just keep trying different things, see what works. All right, I think I have it shaped to the line now pretty well, so I'm going to get, I think I can get just one more stitch and then I'm up at that point. So, oops. Dang, you do your nails right before it and nail polish is still soft. Stab my nails a little bit. All right, we're at the point. So I'm gonna add one little stitch right in the same place again, kind of like how we started. That just kind of locks it there. A nice corner point. So, all right, I think we got our first couple of stitches in there. Now let's try and get this point nice. And you know what? I think I might puff this all out again. I think that will help me a little bit. All right, we want to kind of fold it in at the point. Fold this corner. Kind of tuck it in there, and then I can pull my point again. And then let's start tucking this next edge under. And I'm holding it with my thumb and my forefinger on the back, really trying to hold it in place. And I think we got it there. I think we're along that line. So I'm gonna just tack it down real quick with my next stitch, and then I can start shaping it again. And again, since this was done kind of weird, I'm puffing it out again. I didn't starch it very well. So I'm really just using that background line as a guide. All right, let's try puffing that out again. Sometimes if I fold too much at once, then I get a little point on my curve. So I'm just unfolding it a little and folding just a hair more over. Folding it more in bits versus big folds, then a little bit by bit, you'll get more of a curve, I found. So, all right, I think it's shaping now. Again, I'm using that back line as my guide. All right, I think we got that point and a curve going. Awesome. I was a little worried about that, but I think it's shaping up. It's got a little funny bloop here, but that's okay. It's a leaf. Leaves have bloops, right? Yeah, there's my brother. He's my brother who's in Australia making cool things on ski hills. Cool moguls and crazy snow stuff. All right. Let's keep stitching, get to this next point. So I'm gonna kind of, ooh, that's shaping out real nice. I'm gonna kind of unfold this again, just so I have, so I can just kind of see more what's going on. Leaf bloops. Gotta have those bloops in the leaves. Make some real leaves. So this is just totally random, but I was telling this came up because Jared, I mentioned you to John today. I remember last time we were at my parents' house. My mom. This is probably, hopefully this isn't an insult, but like my mom was waking me up one morning, like I was sleeping in, and she asked if I wanted to go to town with her, but she just peeked her head in the door, and I'm like, oh, it's Mom. And then I'm like, no, it's Jared. Oh, did Jared come home? Is Jared here? So like in like that dazed sleep, I was like, oh, Jared's home from Australia. And then I missed you, Jared. You should come home and visit. All right. On the other side of the world. All right, I'm going to work on this other curve here. I think we got this point okay. It's not quite all the way down to the point. Oh, soon? Oh, well, I suppose, yeah, the season is, man, season's fast. Summer goes by and winter goes by so fast. Crazy. I'm like, you're coming home already? And then I'm like, oh, wait, yeah, our summer's almost over, isn't it? But yeah, I didn't get all the way down to the point here, but that's okay. We're going to just shape this however it works. All right, I think we just need a couple more stitches and we got this little leaf done. You really, I mean, you can see I really kind of veered from where I did the freezer paper. And there's a lot of room to be able to shape it with this needle turn. Like I can pull the fabric out when I need to or tuck it back in when I need to. Yeah, Jared, in my head, you were just showing us pictures of having to move snow around when you hardly had any snow yet. So in my head, it's still like the beginning of the season where you don't have, like you're moving fake snow still. All right. I guess we did have a summer/winter in the middle there, huh? Crazy. That was a fast couple months. All right, let's do the little loops. Tie our knot. All right, leaf number 1. Let's see how many more of these guys we can get done tonight. That only took about 15 minutes or so, maybe 10, 15. All right, that's kind of cute. I actually like the little like wave we got going on there. Time flies when you're having fun, or when it's summer, I suppose. Oh, that summer flits by fast. All right, let's get another leaf. So this is going to be the same color as this guy. I'm glad you're having fun, though. All right, we'll press him. Again, remember you want the shiny freezer paper side down. Get some heat on there. I'll scooch up a little bit more for you guys again. Tilt you down. Then your hair more from my viewpoint. A little more heat on there. Oh, something, this just reminded me of this. Something to remember when you're doing this freezer paper method, you want a dry iron. You don't want steam coming out of it at all, because then it'll, you know, any moisture and it's not going to stick anymore. So make sure your iron is dry. So if you're having trouble with this freezer paper sticking, that might be the issue. All right. Let's trim that up. Nope. All right, we're doing a pretty good job at just tucking under these corners. So I'm gonna just keep doing that whole dog ear thing. That seems to be working fine. Or actually, you know, not even concerning myself at all with the corners, like how I'm folding them correctly. That has been okay because I've been adjusting as I stitch it down, and that's been okay. So I'm just not going to worry about it as much. How about that? All right, out of here, papers. All right, I'm going to just give this a little more of a press now since it needed it last time. Okay. Got tiny little bits hanging out here. Kitty likes all the heat on his belly. All right, let's starch this up. Let's do the whole thing right away. Hopefully I'll do a little better job this time. We'll see. Get this guy out. Maybe I just needed a warm-up one. I don't know. I think this might be just a little bit of a thicker fabric than some of those other fabrics I was using. It's just, it doesn't want to play quite as nice with me. So I think we're going to have to just adjust this one as we stitch as well. But, you know, that's kind of the beauty of the needle turn. I can adjust as I go. It's just tiny too. I mean, all these little itty bitty pieces are a little difficult to manipulate. Yeah, this one's going to be pretty wonky again, but it seemed to go pretty well just stitching it, so I'm not even going to worry about getting it nicer. So, all right, let's get back down here. Pop that, yeah, this one's all over the place, but we'll fix it when we stitch it down here. We'll at least have a general shape going for us. Okay, he goes right there. So this upper curve, it's a little wonky, but it's not so horrible. So I think I'm going to use that as my guide. Let's glue him down. Okay. I have scissors all over the place here tonight. Again, I'm just going to kind of tack it down on that one little side, just enough to hold it in place while I work. That's been so much nicer than putting a pin here. So I've definitely become open to the glue aspect of this needle turn and quilting and just applique stuff. I wasn't always like that. I was just like, do I really want to be putting glue all over my fabric? But, you know, it's non-toxic and it washes out, so really it's not really a huge problem. I'm going to use my same thread. I think I have enough. All right. Except for I'm almost making it fall out. But see, it gets kind of crinkly. That's why I've been getting new threads, even though I had enough thread. But we'll try it with it all kind of crinkly. Let's see what happens. All right. Yeah, let's start here and get that outer point going. Then we'll come back around. So again, starting from the back, coming to the front, and now I'm gonna go around and catch that edge one more time here. All right. Now, again, I'm gonna use this back outline. Since I did kind of misshape this quite a bit, this leaf, I'm gonna actually puff it out a little bit. I'm gonna use that back outline as my guide to shape it a little bit more. Yep, Peggy, I am using 50 weight Aurifil thread. It's nice and thin, and I'm just using one strand of it as well. I've tried it with 2 strands before, but it was just thicker and unruly, and you could really see the stitches a lot. I think this, you can still see the stitches, but it's just like those pretty little, this is hand done kind of stitches. And it's not tangling, funny. When I tried 2 threads, it was just tangling too much. And, you know, the only reason I tried 2 threads was like, is the one thread going to be strong enough? But it totally is. I haven't had any problem with it yet. I mean, you're putting so many stitches in there. I'm going to unfold this other side too. You're putting so many stitches in there that I think, you know, you're going to be okay. All right, tucking that under till it follows that line. I think I got to do 2 stitches before the point. Well, 1 stitch and then the point stitch. Yeah, and I'm using a color that matches the, I mean, it doesn't really match, but it matches the applique pieces more than it matches the background. I think that's kind of what I've heard to do. Match your foreground piece versus the background. So it's a gray that kind of blends in with all these colors versus that cream Aurifil, that thread that I was trying. So I'm a little close to all these points here. I maybe cut a little too much off of this point originally, but we're gonna see what we can do with it. Oh, I have one of these little bloops again. I must be making a little funny bloop right before I get to points, so I'll have to watch that as I keep making this. All right, let's puff this out again just so I can kind of see what I'm doing. So again, I'm going to fold this point in, although I don't have much point there, and then fold in the side a bit. Kind of tuck all that stuff in there. Get all those fuzzles tucked in. I'm just going to pull on that point again, and yeah, I think that follows my line enough that I can at least tack that down so it holds and I can start shaping the next stitch a little bit. Yeah, I do have that funny little bloop. I'm going to have to pay attention to that. With the next leaf, we'll see if I can eliminate that bloop that I do right before getting to the point. All right, I think that's good enough. Let's stitch that down using my drawing as a guide. I wonder how the next fabric will be, because I think I'm either just totally off in the starch freezer paper method tonight, or the fabric is just different. So I'm curious how the next fabric will work, because I'm going to do the next 2 leaves in a different fabric that I think is probably a different company. So we'll see how that works. Maybe that fabric will do the starch and freezer paper a little bit better. Oop, got my stem up there. All right, you can see, again, that was my ironing line, and I've poofed it out a little bit so it can be more in line with with the actual background drawing. One more, and then we will attempt to do this second point. All right, so I'm going to unfold that point again. If I would have done this perfectly, in theory, I wouldn't have to unfold and do all this extra stuff, but we're doing it more like real needle turn applique tonight, where you fold as you go. You don't pre-fold it all. All right, so I'm trying to get right at that point there. So that will be my next stitch. I'm going to come up right at that point and grab the edge of the leaf and go right around again at that point to lock it in place. Okay, now we can work on tucking this point under. Oh, but I lost thought I felt that happen. Lost my needle. Should count how many times I do that during the night. Hi, Carol. How many times I lose my needle. I think a lot. I mean, one of the reasons I've heard that you should get like a little longer needle for this needle turn applique. You still want a thin needle, a nice thin needle that goes through tightly woven fabric easily, but maybe a little bit longer. So I don't actually. I'm just using the needles that I have. I don't have a needle that kind of fits those criteria. So I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Like, what's the best needle for needle turn applique, and see if I can snag some of those. Because yeah, I'm thinking this just might be a hair too short, maybe, my needle. Still works, but you know, it's nice to have the stuff that really works. Ooh, let's see if I can get this last curve looking okay. Oh, Michelle, I'm sure they do. I mean, I am not positive, but my guess is that there's some manufacturer making it perfectly for it. Or there's some, maybe it was used for some other industry, like, who knows, like hat making or something, who knows. But I'm sure there's kind of specific things. You use an 11 sharp, Judy? I'll have to look into that. Yeah, I have no idea what this one is. All I know is you wanted a kind of a thin, a Milner's. Oh yeah, so a Milner's needle, that is a for hats, isn't it? But I know you want a thin needle to go through the fabric, and it has to be sharp. You know, there's blunt needles and there's sharp needles, so you definitely want a sharp needle to go through fabric. And in this case, I've heard for needle turn that you want it a little longer. And yeah, maybe that is a Milner's needle. I'm gonna do this one last stitch. Something to research. Yeah, I get these goofy little bloops right before the point, so I'm gonna try and work on that with my next leaf. I'm reviewing what I've done and trying to improve as I go. Oh, Milner's are too long for your hand. Oh, okay. Huh. Well, and that's the thing too. It's all in the end. It's what works for you. Like if everyone says, "Oh, use a Milner's needle," but that's just not flying, then clearly good on them. But you know, you got to do what works, what feels right. And everyone's hands and everyone's technique is, you know, their own. A short beading needle. Oh, that's interesting, Wanda. The thing with beading needles, though, are that they're really kind of bendy. I'm kind of wondering. Yeah, I don't know about that. I think I actually have some. I think I have some beading needles. I did a lot of beaded bracelets when I was in high school and junior high and stuff. Probably mostly junior high. So I have a lot of beading needles, but I remember them being very bendy, and I think that would be a little problematic for this, but who knows? Maybe it's the key. I don't know. I'm gonna try and tuck this little guy. I didn't do a very good job at this corner. called a straw needle, long and fine. Okay, Jenna. So I'll have to look into a milliner's needle and a straw needle. Yeah, the thing is, I don't think you want it bendy, and I think a beading needle. I think a beading needle is slightly bendy, but I don't know. I'll have to check it out. Okay, next leaves is this lighter kind of butterfly thread. Ooh, yeah, this one got a little wonky, but I'm okay with it. So let's get our next leaf right here. So a straw needle and a milliner's needle. Two things I gotta look into. And I still have that Next Care rubber tape in my Amazon basket, so I think I just need to add to. I'm kind of waiting till I have more in my Amazon basket to get it. But I wanted to try that for the bottom of my rulers too. Lots of little gadgets to try out. All right, I'm really hoping we can get these other two leaves. Maybe we'll only get one more done tonight, but let's see if we can get two. All right, that looks good. Scissors, where are you? Ooh, this feels kind of thick and hefty like the last fabric, so I'm thinking we might have a little trouble doing this. So actually, you know, during the Splendid Sampler, like there is a solution for this. So I've been having trouble when I fold it over that the paper is folding and stuff too. One thing you can do is actually double layer your freezer paper. So I could have put 2 layers of paper down and then done this, and then I'd have more of an edge. So I don't know, maybe I should do that next time. Gretchen, yes, so it's some of the people on here do that. So they've put that Next Care underneath the ruler, and it's clear, and it'll hold down the ruler when you cut. And I have little stickers that do that, but this seems like a cheaper and maybe more long-term option, so I thought I'd give that a try. That Next Care clear tape with little rubber on it. Definitely something that I must try a bit. Appliqué. Oh yeah, so Michelle, appliqué is something I hadn't really done much before the Splendid Sampler either, and I'm doing a lot more. Great to see you live Friday morning in Australia. You are in the future. I always think that's funny. We had a whole conversation about that. All you future people. It's kind of funny. All right. Yep, I'm on bright and early in the morning in the future. On the other side of the world. Okay, I might need some of this still. Let's try and press this. Maybe I was gonna say maybe my iron's just kind of cooling down a little, but it's definitely not because my finger can feel it. I think it's just, this is a different thickness than that. I mean, this is, oh, I can tell. I can definitely tell. So this is that other fabric we've been using. This is clearly thinner than the other 2 fabrics I've been using. So I think that might be part of the reason it's just not wanting to fold over as easily. But we've been making up for it in in the actual needle turning part of it, so it hasn't really been all that big of a problem. But it is nice to have a nice perfect shape to begin with. We've been not really getting that so much tonight though. But we're managing. But yeah, I think it's the thickness of fabric that is affecting me a lot here. It's hard for me to watch you struggle with the points. Oh, makes me want to pick it up and help you. Oh, Judy. I'm learning. I'm trying to get better. One of these days I'll have them perfect. I mean, this is like massive progress. Like how my points look now. I mean, I just kind of don't have the right tools here either. But the points that I'm doing now are so much better than when I began. If you have any tips, I'll take them. But yeah, I'm just trying to improve as I go. Yeah, I know this one was pretty wonky, but it's okay. I'm getting a little bit better. All right, here we go. Oh, these guys go down here. Oh, they're light and pretty. Okay, I like them. So this one will go here. This one almost touches this ground. I'm gonna go maybe a little higher than that. This one's not too bad. I think we'll, I picked this up thinking it was my glue, but that is not my glue. Same shape out of the corner of my eye. I think this fabric worked a little bit easier than this other green fabric, so that'll be good. Let's get it right about there, I think. This is a low leaf here. Points equals intimidating. We're getting it though. We haven't even done the inner points yet, like on the hearts. That'll be interesting. Those are a little trickier. I was getting a little bit better at those towards the end of the Splendid Sampler, but I wasn't doing it in this starch method, so I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I think we'll be okay. Get a little bit of thread here. I think I took smaller thread, a smaller amount of thread this time. I think I'll just do the one leaf and get new thread after the first leaf. We're all in a learning, loving Facebook and YouTube. Yes! Oh, that's good, Debbie. Yeah, you guys have been just so helpful, and I've learned just a ton from hanging out here with all of you. For sure. That's totally like my greedy reason for doing these Facebook Lives, is to steal all of your knowledge and learn everything. All right. Ooh, I'm having a hard time gripping this. There we go, from the top. All right, we got a lot of goofy little bloops going on here, so I'm going to try and correct those as we go. I think my leaf here is a hair bigger than the leaf drawing underneath, so we're going to just kind of keep going. Oh, maybe you're not so motivated with the hearts coming along. I think that actually the hearts might be a bit easier than these leaves and stems just because they're bigger. So, I mean, they're not that much bigger. But, you know, these are a lot of kind of itsy bitsy pieces that we're dealing with. So here I have one little point here that I'm going to try and tuck in a little bit. But actually, you know what? I'm not going to worry too much about it. So I have a little point there. Oh well. I'd rather just stitch it down than correct it. Have it be a little wonky. It'll be okay. All right, where do I want this point to be? I think we'll do 2 stitches. I can definitely feel that this fabric is a hair thicker than that other fabric. Something is going on with computers. Oh, you don't see it at all. Oh, bummer, Patricia. Maybe you should start with a bigger pattern. Oh, maybe. I mean, sometimes it's nice to just kind of jump in. You know what? I think I'm going to go up to this point that already looks like it's here. I'm not going to follow the background line. I'm just going to go right up to this point because it looks pretty good already. I don't know, if you were going to needle turn applique this, like if you're going to do the whole thing needle turn, you would start out with some bigger pieces, because if I were going to do the house with needle turn applique too, you would start out with large pieces. But since I'm embroidering that, I only have like these little pieces to do. So by the time you finished all those larger shapes, oops, I forgot to go around again here. You'd have some practice in, I'm thinking. All right, you know, this shape isn't all that bad. I'm gonna just try and tuck this guy in, and oh, that wasn't too hard. There, we're tucked in. I will tack that down, and we will have a point done. All right, and I think we will have just enough time, hopefully, to do one more leaf. I'd love to get all these leaves done. So tomorrow night, we'll do all the circles, I think. Oh, thanks, Michelle. I'm actually pretty happy with how I'm stitching this so far because, like I said, it was a different story altogether when I started needle turn applique on the Splendid Sampler. I'm able to shape things much better, and my corners, my points are a lot better than when I started. So I feel good. I'm feeling good coming into this, and better than I thought. So yes, some things are wacky here and there, but this is a huge, big improvement from when I started. So yeah, Donna, I think it is a practice, and you know, it's not just practice. It's doing it and then assessing what you've done. I'm gonna flip this dog here the other way. Assessing and then trying to learn, like, oh, I keep doing that one weird thing. How do I fix that? You know, and you know, that might take just trying things, or it might take research, but it's practicing and trying and assessing and adjusting as you go. And sometimes what you adjust to might be worse, so you know, okay, well, let's go back to how I was doing it and try something else. But yeah. All right, so there's the next point. I got a little kind of squarish point in there, but that's that point that I didn't want to deal with adjusting too much. So, all right, let's try and get this last point folded over. Tucking that in. Oh, I'm a little higher than what the original drawing behind it was, but that's okay because I think it was pretty low. It was pretty close to the ground, so I just did it to where it connected with my leaf or my stem, and now I'm gonna just kind of shape it. Not doing all that good of a job shaping it, but we'll keep trying here. This leaf might just have a few more points in. You've also noticed doing your applique that the edges of your material fray. Oh, is the fabric cheap? You might just want to make a little bit bigger seam allowance so that if it does fray, I mean, it's definitely going to fray as you work on like inner points and stuff. If you do like a swoop, like if you swoop your needle under like that, sometimes that will help it not fray. I think it must be because yeah, Donna, I think you're right. I think your seam allowance might just be too small. I would start there. Give yourself a little bit more room. So that means you'll just be tucking more of it under. A little bit bigger seam allowance. The only time I did a teeny tiny seam allowance was for these stems, just because they're so skinny, and the seam allowance I didn't want bigger than the actual stem. All right, we'll do one more stitch in here. I think this stitch might, there, pull that little point underneath there a little bit. All right. Let's get to the other side and tie my little knot. It's, again, a little wonky, but I think that's also kind of the beauty of needle turn a little bit, is that it's all hand done. And I mean, these are leaf shapes too, which those can be a hair wonky, right? I still feel like I'm getting better and better. So that's what I'm concerned with, really. Learning from what I've done previously, like looking at what I did for the last leaf and seeing if I can try and fix that the next leaf, and keeping on. I like the variation in greens. I think it is looking just so freaking sweet. Oh, that was for your leaf stems. So yeah, it was probably just because you had just short little seam allowances. If you were to do it again, I would try making your seam allowances a little bit larger, or maybe using more starch that might help with it fraying. Or I know, I mean, this is difficult to do, but try not to handle it as much, and that might help. Although I know that's kind of difficult. All right, let's do the last little leaf here. We'll go kind of tuck it in there. One more leaf. Oh, it's looking cute. I'm really excited about it. Yeah, you guys, if you want to share photos and stuff, I'd love to see what you guys are working on. And if you're working on this project, even better. Or any penguin and fish projects. But feel free to share whatever it is you're kind of crafting or working on in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. I think I have a link here for that, and you can click join, and I'll let you in, and you can post what you're making. It's always so fun. There's nothing better than knowing that there are people out there using their creativity and making stuff. I love it. All right, I'm just going to trim those down a hair still. Zoop. Zoop. All right, let's try this starching one more time for the night. Actually, I think that last leaf turned out pretty nice. All right. I think I probably have just enough starch on here. It's all kind of dried already. Maybe I just need a little bit more starch for this thicker fabric. But I think it's just the fabric's thicker, so it's harder to fold. With the thicker fabric, I probably should have done a double layer of the freezer paper, and that probably would have solved it just fine. But you know, the thicker fabric doesn't want to do all these turns quite so nicely there. Actually, now I'm going a little slower. Maybe that's the key. Hold it longer and a little slower. Never done embroidery till, oh, you saw me last year for the sampler. Oh, Debbie, I hope you're still doing it. Oh, that's awesome. I hope you enjoyed trying it out. So we are going to do another embroidery project coming up here, the Craft a Happy Life embroidery. And I think I'd like to do that in August yet. I'm going to try and get a newsletter out about that just to give you guys a little bit more of a schedule when we'll start that, because I'm not positive we're going to have, actually I'm pretty sure we're probably not going to have this block number 1 done yet by the time I want to start the Craft a Happy Life embroidery. So we might take a tiny, like 3-day break or something from this to stitch the Craft Happy Life embroidery and then come back to this. But we'll see. We'll see how quick this goes. All right, this last, you know what, I'm not going to even press that last bit. I know it's going to be, I know that was a weird fold, and I'm going to just work on that fold as I go here. I wonder if you made the tiny clips at the curve. The clips, so on an outer curve, so the leaves are both like outer curves. They're both going outward, not inward. The inner curves you clip. The outer curves you cut notches out of, like triangles out of, because you want to reduce the fabric amount in that seam allowance. And that could help a little bit. But I don't know, I'm thinking it probably wouldn't be a ton of help. It might be though. We'll have to, maybe we'll definitely do that for this heart. Like I will, up here where it's a really tight curve, I'll cut notches out of there. So we'll give that a try and see if that works. All right, I think this one's gonna be good. I think we will We'll have to shape it a little still. Maybe I should go this way. Yeah, we're gonna go that way. Okay, blue. I like that this is a little lighter, this fabric. It's kind of fun. Right there. Cute. All right. Get our thread and our needle out. Here, I'll give you 6 Sunbonnet Sue blocks. Oh, fun. Oh my gosh, they're 12 inches each. Oh, that's so sweet. I have an idea for a Sunbonnet Sue that I still want to do. So one of these days I'm going to design it. I don't want to say my idea aloud quite yet, but I have a kind of a fun project in mind for that. Oh yeah, it almost kind of looks like there's little veins in that one. Oh, I suppose I don't need this giant scissors to cut that. That's what this little scissors is for. But yeah, Sunbonnet Sue, if you guys are unfamiliar with what we're talking about, that's, you've probably seen one before. It's, well, it can be several different things, but in general, it's that little, it's applique. It's a traditional kind of applique block, but it's that little girl who has a sunbonnet on, like a big bonnet. And sometimes she has an umbrella, sometimes she has a little basket, but it's always like this little girl in her little like skirt, overall skirt thing or whatever, her little jumper, and her big old sunbonnet, so you can't see her face or anything. It's a pretty traditional quilt block, which is just cute and fun. Cute and sweet. Although there's a Sunbonnet Sue too that also looks like an older woman, not an old woman, but like a Southern belle. Isn't that? I've seen that as a Sunbonnet Sue before too. Is that just glue? I don't have a fabric glue, so I'm just using what it is. It's oh, that's the French version. It's non-toxic and washable and acid-free. So those are all good things you want when working with fabric. So those are the bits that I'm looking for. I think Elmer's glue would work just fine. But yeah, there is special glue that people use for applique. Sometimes it can come in a pen and you can make teeny tiny dabs, which is great. But yeah, you want like some sort of non-toxic glue. I just happen to have this kind around and thought I'd use it. So that's why I'm using Colonial Lady. Oh, so Colonial Lady, she is in the Sue. All right. I think those get confused sometimes. So yeah, the Sunbonnet Sue is the little girl with the cute little bonnet on. Yeah, sometimes she's got her little umbrella. Sometimes she's just walking along. You've done needlepoint Amish folks that have sunbonnets too. Oh, that's cute. Yeah, I would love to do a project with a Sunbonnet Sue one of these days, and I got a fun idea for it. I just need to decide. That's the project I'm working on for a period of time. But let's get the Splendid Sampler quilt done. Let's get this quilt done, and then I got to get my jean quilt done first. So, and we're going to be doing that Krista Quilt's chevron quilt too, coming up here this year yet. I think, yeah, I'm going to open this up a little bit to try and tuck it under. So I got to hold off on some of those new quilt ideas for a little while. At least till I finish these 3 that I got going on now. Oh, an overall Dan. Oh, that's funny. I haven't heard it called that. Male version. Or little boy version, I suppose. All right. Got that corner. Now let's try and tuck all this bulk underneath again. Sometimes it's a little tricky tucking all that bulk. But little by little. I think the smaller little movements, the better. so you don't get like little folds happening.